Ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, welcome to the live show. We're back for another fine live show together. Don't forget the risk. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. If you don't like risk, you probably shouldn't be trading. Hello, Elaine. Hello, Fani. I see you already commenting. You're already here. That's fantastic news. Good to see you guys. Hope you're all well. Let me move my picture out of the way and we can go and chat a little bit about the markets and go and see what's been happening and what's been going down. Today, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about the supply and demand process and how to trade with supply and demand. So for those of you who might be interested in that, keep your eyes open. That's coming shortly. We'll do that when everyone's here. We'll do that when everyone's around, and we'll go and have a look at it. I took a short trade on Bitcoin because I just feel like it's going to go down. It looks like it wants to now. There's a bit of a green candle there, of course, because I went short, but that's okay. It kind of just looks like it wants to go that way. It's falling below that support, kind of trending down in that direction. So 50-50. I'm just deciding that I think I'm going to target 90K on Bitcoin. And then I also added United States dollar, Canadian dollar in as a short, broken a little short-term structure here. It'll probably come down to this main level it broke through and try and test that. But if it breaks through that, it'll come back to its original level, which is quite far down here. So that's what we look at. We'll see if it'll come back down all the way down to its original level. And the South African Rand got stopped out. I think we spoke about that on Tuesday, but it got stopped out for $105 profit or something. The DAX we were calling short, and it bounced up, but it is now going short again. And it looks like it wants to break through that little support area. So looks like it wants to go, but the S&P 500 is showing a rather large green candle, so we've got to be careful of that. It looks like it's bouncing off the support there. But that said, we've also got Brent crude oil, which this morning it sort of bounced back again, but now it's coming down again, which is not the best news. I'm kind of expecting Brent eventually to find its feet and go, but it's still struggling. It is in structure, so I'm just leaving it alone for now, and we'll just see if it eventually finds its way back into the realms of upward stuff. BTC. Yeah, there's no momentum on the BTC at the moment to the short side, but actually all the momentum was kind of like a bounce to the upside. But I'm just looking at it. If you look at Bitcoin, if you take Bitcoin to the weekly chart, 1 week, you take Bitcoin to the weekly chart and you look at it on the weekly chart, you're going to get quite an interesting picture. And that picture is very interesting in the sense that it is catching across this level here. But if you put a 40-day moving average on it, if you have a look at it on a weekly basis, it kind of looks like it's falling down, falling over, breaking through at 105. This 105 level was actually quite important. It was quite important on the 4-hour as well. So just looking at it, it just tends to want to fall over. It looks like it wants to fall over. It's not completing its move. It could bounce and go straight back up again. Who's to say that it won't? But it just feels to me like it's going to fall over. Let's take it to the day chart. And even on the day chart, if you look at it on the day chart, there's just a level here that seems to be really important. And it just looks like it wants to fall down. So I'm just going with that feeling for now. I'm managing my risk, putting my risk in place, because it really doesn't matter about these lines and all that. As I always tell you guys, what matters is that you put a stop loss in place and manage the strategy. So it just feels like it wants to fall down. Hello, Nick. Welcome. Good to see you again. Fani, Christo, and I don't think it broke the head and shoulders, Nick. I don't think it broke the head and shoulders. The head and shoulders is still in play. The head and shoulders are still in play. There's a head and shoulders here, okay? And it hasn't broken the neck. The neckline's way up here. So this head and shoulders is actually still in play, but I think it's reached that distance for the small head and shoulders. But if you look back, there's a giant head and shoulders next to it on the left here. That one hasn't played out yet, and that one goes all the way to 90K. So there's a very good chance that that one's going to play out. That's a biggie. That said, it hasn't broken them. No, it's still in play. They're both still in play. So, you know, Bitcoin could still go crashing down into the realms and puts at the bottom. Okay, so the Euro Great British Pound trade is suddenly going in our favor. It wasn't just now, and something's obviously going against us because I see something's changed up there. Must have been a news release a moment ago or something's. Oh, it's 2 o'clock, of course. Okay, so Euro Great British Pound going for us. Brent crude oil. What's going against us? Maybe the Canadian dollar? Don't know. Why did that change so drastically? Seemed to be doing okay earlier. Anyway, we shall see. There must be some CPI data or something coming out, or non-farm payrolls, or some kind of story. Don't know. We shall see, because that's bouncing around quite a lot. See, I don't watch the short-term news much, so I don't really see it going down. And that's 150, 160, 65. Where's the green ones? The green ones have all gone. Oh, that's why all the green ones have left home. This was green earlier. Now it's gone red. Okay, I see what's going on. The Euro Great British Pound. Okay, the Euro Great British Pound sort of turned against us there. Okay. I see what's happened there. And that's where the changes come in. Oh, boy. Okay, right. Well, what I'm looking at here is it keeps trying to break through that level, and it's failing at every opportunity. So if it breaks through there today, then we've taken a really bad trade, and it's gone against us. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that, see how it goes. We're going to talk about supply and demand just now. We're going to go over that supply and demand system. We'll show you how that works and show you how you can use that on the charts. You have to keep an eye on that because I do have it on other accounts, and just to keep an eye on that one. Bitcoin is kind of moving around very slowly. I thought it was Brent crude oil that was moving this in a negative light, but it seems to me it's the United States dollar, Canadian dollar, and the Euro Great British Pound, which is giving all the headaches, let's say, giving all the headaches. Some technical analysis dude says BTC will hit 80,000. I love it when everyone's predicting where the markets are going, don't you, Nick? I think it's amazing. The guys predict where things are going. And then this week, it's Bitcoin's going to 80,000 or Bitcoin's going to wherever. And the week before that, it was going to 200,000. It was going the other way. It's insane how these guys predict where things are going. And where they get the information from, I really boggles the mind. But the tune changes just about every week, and you never really know, where these guys are going with us. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So it looks like the Euro Great British Pound is happy with some kind of news, and it's decided to give us a headache and go through this resistance level. So we'll see. It's not looking good there, is it? Okay. So what we also have here. So let's talk a little bit about supply and demand, and we can chat about this now. This is a good time. Hi all, how's it, Blue Mango? Coral, how's it? Okay. Supply and demand. What is supply and demand? You get the supply of money is basically a demand of money and a supply of money, and it really doesn't matter what you call it. What you're looking for, if you're looking for those kinds of levels, is a very simple situation. If you have the 3 candles, okay, beyond, like say you've got 3 red candles dropping down and you've got this green candle at the top, then there's a supply of money lying in this level, okay? And all you got to do is you can draw it in for yourself if you want to. You don't have to, but you can draw it in. You just take that candle and you draw it across. That's the green candle. That's the level of money that it's coming back to fetch, right? So it goes up, fetches that money. So it comes out of there, 3 big candles, comes down, goes back up, goes and fetches that money, and then comes crashing down again. So what it's doing right now, hopefully, is it's taking that supply of money up there. It's gone down, taken the 3 candles. You've got the money in there because that's where it pushed it down. The reason we use 3 candles is 3 strong candles means there was a lot of money that forced it down. You could have 1 gargantuan candle as well, but I mean, that's going to be very difficult for you to work out. So it's better just to take 3 large candles and say 3 large candles after a, so if it's a green candle, 3 red candles after it. If it's a red candle, 3 green candles after it. Works both ways. And in this case, it's a green candle with 3 relatively reasonably sized red candles behind it. And then all you're doing is taking the green candle before the red candles, drawing that area in because that's the area of liquidity, that whole candle, including the wicks. That area is where the money is. And then you expect for it to come back up, take that money, turn around and come back down again. And that's basically supply and demand. It works the other way around. Like here, you had all these candles going up. So you had a level over here. So that was a level, a demand of money lying there. So it should come down, take that money, and go back up again. So that's the opposite side. That's the side you're looking for to go long. It's on the short side. So there you had the red candle. You had a big run of green candles after it. It doesn't have to be 3, it can be 10, but it's not less than 3. And you've got a level that you can work with, and you can see where it's pushing out. And that's basic supply and demand. They call it supply and demand just to determine one's short, one's long. Doesn't matter. It's just an area of liquidity, where people see money. Now, in many cases, what you'll find with these types of levels is at least they'll be in confluence with a resistance or a support in any event, whether it be a trend or whether it be just a normal support or just a normal resistance. They'll be in that area that you're looking at. So you can see this area here is very much in confluence with the resistance. The resistance is there as well. It's very much in the same place. And if you go down to the bottom here and you look at this area of money here, you'll see that it's also very much in line with a support level and also a trend support level, an area where it would come back to and say, I want to buy there, and it's going to go back up. And it's going to follow that sort of pattern. So you don't really need to use supply and demand in your trading. You can just use resistance and support. And I find resistance and support is that much more reliable as well, because you can actually see like a resistance that's hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You know it's knocking on the door there, and every time it gets there, someone's beating it down, and that's it. It's obvious what's happening there. You know what's going on. There's a lot of money in that area that's pushing it away. If it breaks through that, well, then it's going to run. That's a breakout. That's when it's breaking to the other side. But whereas supply and demand is much weaker, it's not as strong as support and resistance. But a lot of traders use it. A lot of traders like to use the supply and demand system, and very much it's an area of liquidity for them, and they can find a line in the sand by using that sort of trading system. Every system in the market works. Every single system that you can find in the market to trade with will work for you. It's been back tested by some trading genius, but that's the whole point of trading. Trading's 50-50 at the end of the day. You just need a system that you can trade with, so you can apply your trade management, so that you can apply your strategy, so that you can put it in place. That's effectively all you need at the end of the day. So now answer something here. Because it is important sometimes to answer these things. What have we got here? See something there. There we go. Right, that's figured out. So yeah, you see now this is kind of turning against us, and this trade has turned against us with this big green candle going up here. Not great news, really bad news. But the good news is there is a kind of supply of money right there. So you look at that and think, well, maybe it's just going to go and take that supply and money and just come crashing down. So you've got to look at it from that light, because it pushed down from that level, might go back to fetch that money and then come crashing down again. Depends on what's being said or what's happening at the moment. So we'll leave that alone for now and just see what happens to it. But that's how it basically works. It works on everything. For example, you see the confluence here of the opposite one, the green candle with the red candles going down. Well, it's not, it's actually the same. You've got the same scenario here where it's in confluence with the resistance. So if I draw that rectangle in there, it's totally in confluence with the resistance. So that supply level is going to be right there by the resistance anyway. It's not really going to make much of a difference. And yeah, down here, the red one with the green candles going up, you could draw that one in right across here. So it took a really long time to get here. Now it's bouncing along. Now there's another level right there on this gold. So it's hit that level and it's in confluence with the support level. So it's hitting that support level, taking that money and starting to bounce up again. Same, similar sort of thing. So whether you draw support and resistance in, or whether you draw supply and demand in, but supply and demand are smaller areas. So be careful. Your support and resistance is a much stronger area, a much more important area, and a much more important area to keep an eye on at the end of the day. Yes, the Nasdaq's going up, the S&P is going up. You know, I've started a range of shorts that give you a little bit of news on the markets every day and tell you a little bit about the fundamentals. So keep an eye on that. Those fundamentals can be quite important to your trading sometimes. And there's a lot of talk on this because at the moment, there's a lot of question around, are the tech stocks in a bubble? Is it a bubble? Now, the Nasdaq, as you know, the Tech 100 is why it's called the Tech 100. Those are your tech stocks. And everybody's excited about tech stocks at the moment. Everything's working for tech stocks. There's a lot of AI involved there and things going on, okay? Now, if that stops and if that falls away, there might be some change in the market, some turnaround in the market. And you've got to be very careful of that scenario, because if that turns, it's going to turn everything on its head very, very fast. There's a lot of question marks around this, around the tech stocks and the shift. So watch out for that. But yes, if the Nasdaq is going up, the S&P is going up. It's just how it is. They work together. So you can see here is the S&P 500 also moving to the upside. But how long is it going to move to the upside? So there it broke structure earlier on. But now we've got a new situation. And I don't care whether it's Nasdaq or S&P, it's going to do something similar anyway. But your S&P 500 has bounced off this. What was a resistance broke through it, went all the way up, came back, filled that gap, came down, hit this level, retested it, it's gone back up. And now you've got this downward trend in the S&P, this sort of relaxing trend, and it seems to be hitting a trend resistance. Will it break through that trend resistance and head on up, or will it continue on in the trend and go down? There's a pincer top over there, an Arami candle type of situation. So that could easily push it down as well. There's a lot of call in the market at the moment. So like I said to you now, so many people calling levels. One week they're calling it to the moon, and the next week they're calling it to the pits. It just depends how they feel. But there's been a lot of call for the S&P not reaching that 7,000 level, not reaching those targets, and perhaps struggling through to the end of the year. And that's a great, strong possibility that we might not get the Christmas rally this year. Will we? Won't we? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But the sentiment is shifting away from we're going to reach the 7,000 to rather it might actually start dropping to the downside a little bit and going the other way. So yeah, its sentiment seems to be changing around this, and it could be quite an interesting finish to the year. Random, have you only just got here? Because we just talked about Bitcoin. We've gone short on Bitcoin, and I'm targeting 90K. I've taken the short trade on it, and I know a few of my trades have gone pear-shaped today, but and this week. But yeah, if I look at this, Bitcoin Bitcoin for me just feels like it's going down. The 105 level was critical, and it's broken that 105 level. It was critical on the weekly charts, and it's kind of critical now on these charts as well. The 105 level was important. Broken through that 105 level, sitting around 103, 102. It's not doing much today, but I kind of gone short on it, just on a, it looks like it wants to go down. And I just get the feeling it's going to pop down to 90. If it gets down to that level and it starts to turn around, it's possibly a good investment buy or a good buy. But as it stands at the moment, it just feels like it wants to fall down further. So I've taken the short on it, not only on this little account, also on my main account. So hopefully it works out, because that's an expensive one. But yeah, all right, we shall see. It's been a tricky week, actually. I've had a few knocks here and there, and a few small profitable stops taken out, but nothing great this week. It's been a tricky week, but it's okay. We live with it. We work with it. You see this Euro, Great British Pound. So on the supply and demand story that we were talking about earlier, you see it's coming back up. It's taking that money. Now, will it continue to go down, or is the news so strong that it's going to push it through? Well, hopefully it starts to just drop off and go away again, which will be good for our trade, because I went on the short side of it. We shall see. Okay. You have to close your Bitcoin future trade, your minus 85 USD. Are you long Bitcoin? Don't go by what I don't predict trades. And as you can see, I've had a bit of a tough week on predicting trades anyway. I manage trades and strategize. So, if I say to you, Bitcoin's going to go down, please don't take that to heart and say Bitcoin's going to go down, because there's all possibility that I could be wrong. It's 50-50. All I can do is take the short. I feel that it's going to go down, take the short, manage the trade. That's all I can do. I mean, for example, this Euro Great British Pound this morning, I said, that's going to go down. Look what it's done. It's gone up. It's kind of bounced up on whatever news came out now. I can't tell you it's going up or down. All I can do is manage the trade, and that's what I've done. I managed the trade with a thought that I'll put my stop loss there, and I'll put a take profit way down there if it goes in my favor. At the moment, it hasn't gone in my favor. So if I say something's going to happen, it's not cast in stone. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I can't predict what's going to happen next. Nobody can. All I can do is strategize and manage the trades. That's all I can do. That's all anybody can do. That's why that the whole situation exists of, it's either time in the market, or how do I work with leveraged trading? If I can't time the market, what am I going to do? The only thing you can do is manage the trades the best way you possibly can, and try and make more on your profits, and try and make a profit at the end of the day. To do that, you're going to have to win a couple of trades, and you don't know which ones you're going to win and which ones you're going to lose. So you try and keep the risk the same, and you look for that trade that's going to make the money. For example, if the Euro Great British Pound was to work out for us, then we would make 3 trades worth of money, which is great. That would be great, wouldn't it? 3 trades worth of money is fantastic. If the Bitcoin trade works out, I'll make about another 3 trades worth of money. So if those 2 trades were to work in my favor, I would be 6 trades up immediately against all the losses. So that would be great. That would cover 6 losses just like that. So yeah, that's what you're working on at the end of the day. 2 trades can make up for 6 losses if they work out in your favor. Okay, BTC broke to the 200-day moving average. I think it's going down. I haven't actually looked at the moving averages, but I do believe that someone mentioned to me that on the weekly chart, it's broken the 40-day moving average to the downside, which is quite a strong signal as well. I wonder if it's got the death cross. I don't know. We could have a look at that as well. Euro US dollar was bearish when I looked earlier. Euro US dollar. It was definitely bearish when I looked earlier. Where is it? Euro, US dollar. Euro, US dollar. Oh, it's turned bullish now. Okay. Turned bullish now, but that's just now. Looks like it wants to go to the upside. So it looks like it might try and head back up here. There is a level here. There's a level that it broke through, support level that it broke through. Coming back to retest that. If it retests that, 115,389. If it gives you a red candle off that and goes down, it's going short. Gives you a green candle and breaks through that, it's going long. So just watch what it does when it gets to this 115,389. Is it going to break to the upside? Is it going to break to the downside? An interesting call, very interesting call. Okay. And then the gold is still stuck in that level, so we can't do anything. We don't know which way it's going. We're waiting for it to break to the downside and go, or to break to the upside and go. We don't know which way it's going to go. We can't tell at the moment. It's sitting in that level and it's going nowhere. So there's no good answer on that one at the moment. But Euro US dollar was bearish this morning when I looked. I hadn't looked at it. Sorry, I haven't looked at it just now. First time I looked at it now, and it has turned around and gone long now. It does need to break through that level because it had broken down through that level. So it needs to break back through that level before you can decide on a long trade on that. Okay. Random says Bitcoin sucks. Okay. Whoa. Yeah. You know, I've never been a fan of Bitcoin or any crypto because I believe it's based on a fresh air system. There's no asset value, so I won't invest in it. It'll never be in my investment account. I don't care what anybody says. I just invest in the shares. The shares make enough money. How much is enough, you know? So at the end of the day, Bitcoin I will trade because I'll trade anything because it's tradable. You're trading against other traders. And it's a great product to trade, but you have to understand one thing about crypto, and that is it's extremely volatile. It's a very volatile product that you're trading with. It's not smooth and easy. Like I used to think that Forex was the most volatile thing on earth because I started my career with shares and in that at that 1-to-1. And then I started leverage trading shares. That to me was extremely volatile because suddenly you're leveraging your trades. Then I went into indexes, and then that was extremely volatile to me. It felt volatile because I was used to trading just the shares, and now suddenly you're trading the indexes, which are moving much more vigorously. And I was really scared to trade Forex. Let me tell you, I was so scared to get into Forex earlier in my career. And then I got into Forex, and it seemed so volatile and so scary, like it was jumping around and moving at a hell of a speed. And then I got around that, and I realized, okay, it's just the same as everything else. So by the time crypto got here, it was like, for me, just that's the same thing. It feels more volatile because it's more indecisive. And I'll tell you why it's more indecisive is because Bitcoin and crypto are all basically based on nothing. I don't know the fundamentals of crypto, how you can read the fundamentals of crypto as to whether it's going to go up or whether it's going to go down. I'm no expert on crypto because I've never liked crypto as a product, as an investment. So for me, the fundamentals of crypto don't make sense to me in a big way because they are built on fresh air, and that just makes it a bit more tricky to trade. So all I do on Bitcoin and crypto is I keep it completely technical. I just look at it from a technical base, because if you read a chart from a technical base, you can pick up what the traders are doing, and they know something in the market, so you don't have to know it effectively. So I'm not watching any real news items on Bitcoin apart from the fact that a news article that says we're closing crypto down or something like that, that would be quite important. But further than that, no. I can't really say to you, oh, this is going to happen to Bitcoin because I don't know. I just don't know. It's a question of just trade it technically. That's all I can do is trade it technically and just and follow the money and see how it goes. So yeah, you get into things like crypto, and it feels like Bitcoin sucks. I get that. And it just feels a bit more, how can I put this? A bit more volatile, but it feels like that because it's moving fast. Because people, you're not the only one, let's say, or I'm not the only one who feels that way. So there's a lot of indecision in the kinds of trades you're doing on Bitcoin. There's more indecision on it than you think. And that's why it moves up and down so much, because nobody's really quite sure which way it's going to go, and nobody wants to miss out, and so on and so on. So, yeah, a lot of people were just, the reason I believe that Bitcoin flew up so much is not because of Trump and this and that and the other. I believe Bitcoin has been going up on the up because everyone's been bamboozled into believing that Bitcoin's the next big thing. They've all been bamboozled into believing that this is going to go to 200,000 because they've been saying that for a long time. Before they started saying it's going to 80,000, they were saying it's going to 200,000. Lots of people have been bamboozled into believing this. So they've just been throwing money in willy-nilly without even thinking about it. People that know nothing about crypto, know nothing about trading or anything, are just putting money into crypto. And that's why it's been climbing. And then when they pull the rug out and it comes crashing down, those poor people are the people that lose out because they really don't know what to do or how to save the day or whatever the case. So if they had 100,000 in crypto and it drops 20% tomorrow, they've got 80,000 in crypto. They just have to accept that they've got 80,000 in crypto now, not 100,000. That's just how it is. That's, yeah, crypto's a funny thing, I must say. If there's no electricity, all your Bitcoins are gone. Yeah, you know, this whole story of electricity and all that and Bitcoin, man, how it all works and all the rest of it is quite insane to me. And look, at the end of the day, what we have to understand as human beings is the governments of the world are going to create their own digital currency anyway. It's not like we don't buy everything digitally at the moment anyway. You know, you pay for things with your cell phone or your watch or, you know, online, whatever. It started online. So they've taken the currencies that we actually have at the moment and basically turned them into digital currencies in one way or another. So it's digital anyway. What they intend to do is take that paper money away completely and make it completely digital. And that, to me, there's not much difference between that and Bitcoin. But with Bitcoin, they've created this whole system in the background where the money is held in the chain and all the rest of it, which is, yeah, does it really have to be like that? You know, the governments in the world are going to create a digital currency system. I expect that somewhere down the line, they're going to try and turn it into a one currency system throughout the world. I don't think that's off the table. I think that's still there. That's still a possibility. And when that happens, then I believe that your Bitcoins will be buried because they're going to get rid of it. They're going to throw it away. They're going to get rid of it. They've already started attacking it by forcing people to now start paying their taxes on it and all the rest of it. So, yeah, Bitcoin was designed as this place to hide or whatever the case. And now it's getting out there. It's becoming sort of in your face. And I still believe that there's going to be a lot of movement when it comes to that, when it comes to crypto. Okay. You'll see what you say is BTC is an electrifying experience. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of it. Our best trades of the past few weeks have been trading VIX. If you can trade the VIX, guys, it's the easiest trade in the world. Now, you remember I always told you guys that most of my profits come from one or two trades, and one of those trades is usually the VIX, okay? And it's so easy. All you do, well, in my case, I wait for it to get down to about 15 and I buy it. And I forget about it. And then I put a profit target at about 30, sometimes 35, forget about it. and then it just shoots up and bam. You know, there was one at the beginning of the year that made me like $50,000 one shot. I know, it's insane. Best trade in the world, guys. Best trade in the world. So if you can trade the VIX, if you've got access to the VIX, trade it. Because you don't really have to trade it. It's going to cost you a lot of money to hold it, by the way. So, you know, maybe wait a bit before you get into it. Look at the chart. What I normally do is look at the last spike and give it a bit of time and then get in. And then there'll be another spike. But you're going to have to hold it until that spike comes. So what I normally do is I just buy in at 15 and wait for the spike to come. And when the spike comes, you take the money and then you wait for the next one. But it's going to cost you a lot in fees to hold it. It's not a cheap product to hold. And they do charge you on a daily basis for holding it. So it could cost you loads and loads and loads of money to hold it. But that's okay. And look, it depends on the size of your trade, guys. It really does depend on the size of your trade, eh? How much you're going to pay. So that's obvious. Everything's relative. Everything's relative to the big size of your trade, the size of your capital, the size of everything, you know. Size matters, guys. Okay, right. Okay, I think a very slow week in major currency. All my alerts wasn't triggered. Do you have any Bitcoin in a wallet? Yeah, in South Africa we use the Luno wallet, but normally for me to get the money from another site to here, the TRC doesn't work with Luno. So what I do, well, they do now. They didn't before. So then I have a trust wallet as well. So I have to get the money into that wallet and then convert the money and then move it back to the. It's so blooming confusing. It drives me nuts. Normally when I do it, I've got a little notepad and on my phone, and I just go back and I just see what I did last time and just follow that process to transfer it into ETH and then just move it over to this site so that it comes to Luna and then it's in South Africa and it lies in that wallet. And then I can spend on it in South Africa, whatever the case. Or, you know, or I could just leave it in the trust wallet as well. But then the trust wallet doesn't pay cash into my bank account. So there's a whole bunch of confusing things that go on there. So I actually literally need to have two wallets so that I can make cryptocurrency work for me, so that I can make it get to my bank account eventually if I need it, or whatever the case. It's really annoying. Actually, I'm not a big fan. I'm really not a big fan. And the only reason I've got those two wallets is for the simple reason that some people just insist on giving you cryptocurrency. And, you know, what can you do? So you accept it and you take it and they put it in my wallet and so be it. Saving it? No, I don't believe in it. I think it's fresh air. If I can, I'd rather spend it or transfer it or get rid of it or whatever the case is as soon as I possibly can. So lunch a lot. Who bought gold? Who bought gold? Somebody buy gold. Now's not the time to buy gold, eh? Ooh. If I look at this, I'm looking at it and it's in no man's land, so I wouldn't be buying gold right now, no. Damn, this Euro Great British Pound, I was looking at it now thinking, should we run? Because there's a pincer top there. And it went into the green and I thought of like letting it go. But it has hit these levels and it is looking at, nah, just wait. See how it goes. Interesting trade though. Gold is right in the middle here. You got to wait for it to break that 40.50 to go up, or you got to wait for it to break this 39.50 to go down. It's the only way to deal with gold, eh? You can't guess which way gold's going to go at the moment. This Euro Great British Pound is a very interesting trade. It's actually bouncing around a lot at the moment. And wondering if it's taken the money and it's actually going to go to the downside or not. Bitcoin, on the other hand, does appear to be wanting to go down, so yeah, that helps. That is pretty interesting. So I hope you guys got the gist or the idea on supply and demand and pretty much how it works. You don't need to use supply and demand in the slightest. In fact, if you just use support and resistance, you'll be fine. There's no need to use supply and demand systems, but the same as there's no need to use volume, there's no need to use RSI, there's no need to use moving average crossover systems or Ichimoku or stochastics or anything like that. You don't need to use any of that stuff if you don't want to. What I will do, worst case scenario usually, is if I'm not sure of a trade, I might pick up an RSI. I might put an RSI on and just see, if it's looking very overbought or oversold or something like that, just to give me a little bit of a feeling as to which way the market might be going on any given trade, just to get that feeling on it. But yeah, you don't need indicators all over your charts. You don't need millions and millions of indicators. You're wasting your time. It's not going to make much difference at the end of the day. You never really know which way it's going to go. See, this Euro Great British Pound trade is doing something very, very, very odd. It's really bouncing around. So somebody's probably talking in the background, which is affecting it immensely. And see how it's bouncing. It's bouncing a lot. Very interesting how it's doing that, actually. Very volatile at the moment. Very volatile. I actually wonder, it's getting a lot of a rather large tail on it. Not sure what that tail is intending to do. Not sure if it wants to go up or if it wants to go down. I just want to check quickly on another account how that looks. It's actually very interesting that it's that one I've got. Oh, the US dollar CAD. I've got a sell on the US dollar Canadian dollar as well, and they've also got a sell on Bitcoin. Okay, so I don't have the Euro Great British Pound on there. Okay. But at the moment, I'm seriously not comfortable with this trade. It's like really, really worrying me that trade, like it's going to go bad, but we'll see. We'll keep one eye on it and see what it does. We have to dump it, we'll dump it. Right. Constantly trading it up and trading it up and down. Well, on BTC daily chart, do you think we can go all the way down to 77,000? Blue Mango, I think you're pushing it at 77,000, but I like your style. 77,000 is hectic, man. I'm targeting 90,000. I'm good with 90,000. I think if we get to 90,000, we've done good. I know there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are calling 80,000, so it's going to 80,000. But will it go to 80,000? I really don't know. Like, I can't predict it. You can't predict it. We don't know. It could go to 200,000. You see, the thing is, like I said, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, everyone was saying that Bitcoin's going to 200,000. I mean, there wasn't many people that you could speak to that wouldn't tell you that Bitcoin's going to 200,000. This week, everyone you speak to says it's going to 80,000. So who do you believe? I just look at the charts. I mean, I like I say, fundamentally, I'm a bit lost on crypto when it comes to that. So I couldn't possibly tell you where it's going to end up. But technically, I look at it, and from a technical perspective, I target 90,000 based on the original head and shoulders, because that was a big head and shoulders on the left here. So I thought with that, if I project that down, I project down to about 90,000. I don't see where they're getting the 80,000 or the 77,000 from. So for me, 90,000 is the target. Once I get there, I'll be perfectly happy to start looking and keeping an eye on it. So yeah, 90,000. Okay. I think I'm pushing my luck looking at 80,000 or 77,000. I think everyone's pushing their luck on that one. It's going to be a bit of a muchness. Okay. An interesting times. What? I should have a look at the news as to what was happening at 2 o'clock. Perhaps I should have looked at it. Need a job? Yeah. Let's have a wee look. Nothing much going on there. Okay. This Canadian dollar, I've got that short as well. I actually got it short here as well. Okay, so looks like we've taken that trade here as well. This one should at least get back down to this level here at the 140. So that one we can have a look at. This Euro Great British Pound, I'm really not comfortable with that trade at the moment. I should actually just let it go and get back to it at another stage. I don't know. It's like bugging me. We shall see. It looked good earlier. It looked like a great trade earlier, but something is affecting it at the moment. Coral asks the question what my opinion is about hedging. You get whole companies that call themselves hedge funds, and they hedge themselves against certain situations. Now, I obviously, many years ago, looked at this and thought, well, obviously hedging is the way to go, because clearly you're hedging your bets, right? So I looked at that scenario, and I looked at hedge trading, and I tried it. Now, the problem comes in, not with the hedge as such. The problem comes in with when you have to sell the situation. So, it's very much something you can do with futures, right? To make a profit on any one particular future, the way you structure your trade. But the difficulty comes in with, do I sell everything when it gets to the point where the one is in profit, the other one's in a loss, maybe the one's in more of a profit than the one's in a loss. So I sell the one in a profit, and do I sell the one in the loss at the same time? And then psychologically, what you find yourself doing is holding on to the trade that's losing with a view to it maybe getting back into a profit as well, which is a problem on its own. I'm going to dump that Euro trade. I don't like it. Sorry, guys, it's bugging me. So I'm letting it go. I don't like the trade. When something gives me a feeling like that, it must go. I don't like it. It's like an inner feeling, a feeling inside that says, this is not going well. Okay, and then I just let things go. It's fine. I'm not even going to look at it. Let it go away. Sorry, guys, but that's something that I do. If I'm not comfortable on something, if it just doesn't feel right, then I'm gone. It's out of there. Right, so that's gone. Okay, now hedging. Many a time I tried hedging, and I did the hedging thing. The difficulty came with closing the hedge or closing it down. While you're hedging, if you hedged really well, then you kind of got a situation of you not making anything. So at one stage or another, hedging, the whole idea is you figure out which way the market's going. So you figured out the market's going bullish. So you've hedged. So you've got one that's losing, one that's winning. So they keep you on a zero. One's going down, one's going up. So now you sell the one in a profit and you're still sitting with the one in the loss. Now, what do? Are you expecting this one to come back up again? Because effectively you're on a zero because you hedged. It becomes complicated when you need to get out. So it's not something that I look at as a strategy to win. I look at it as, you see, hedging comes about for investments. If you want to protect your investments for a period of time, so then you'll hedge against the investments by, say, investing in commodities in a large scale. So you invest in commodities to cover your share trades or your index trades or whatever the case. And then when when it's all over, then you get rid of the hedge and you continue on with your normal investment. That's the whole idea of hedging. But what actually happens is you end up now with people that are trying to hedge trade. But the name in itself tells you that you're going to be on a zero. And the difficulty comes in with the decision at the end as to how you get out of the hedge and what's the best way to get out of the hedge. Because if you get out of the hedge too early and then it doesn't work out, you could end up losing more than what you won, which doesn't help either. So just keep that in mind when you are considering hedging. Just keep that in mind. It's a very, I tried it and it didn't work out for me. It's a bit like dollar cost averaging. It doesn't work because how can it work? It doesn't. You can test it out for yourself, but the difficulty comes in with your psychology and how you work the trade and how you get the trade to work for you. And that's where the complication comes in. Yeah, it's a 25K account. It was on 26,000 2 weeks ago, and now it's on 23.8. Yeah, it lost. The last 2 weeks has been bad on this account. Like I said, trading's 50-50. You can't win them all. So long the best stock in each sector and short the worst stock in each sector, kind of like long in NASDAQ and shorting the Dow. Long one NQ, short 2YM. Yeah. But yeah, it's very much of a muchness when you're trying to get out of the trade. What do? How do you get out of the trade? You know, what should you get out of the trade and whatnot? So I come to think of it, how much is this account down actually? So it's a $25,000 account. So it's $1,200. No, that's $23,936. So $1,080 down. So in the last 2 weeks, this account lost $2,000. Hectic, eh? Isn't that just a terrible thing? That's life. The joys of a 50-50 account. But if you win 1 or 2 trades, look, if this Bitcoin trade wins, we win $700. And if this Canadian dollar trade wins, we win another $600. So that in itself is about $1,200 back in the account. Poof, just like that. No big deal. Okay. So that's how you got to look at it. You're going to win more at the end somewhere down the line. Don't panic. You know. Funnily enough, the main account is way in profit. I don't know how that works, but I do take different trades there. And there's another $100,000 account that I just funded account as well that I just can't get onto here for whatever reason. And that one's in profit as well. It's 101,000. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. But this one took a big knock. I don't know if it's because we were playing around with the training or because we're using it on the show or what. Because once the show's over, I don't actually watch this account. So I don't know if that's why. But it doesn't really matter. It's positioned. We see what happens. And if it works out, it works out. Don't worry about it. You know? No big deal. You'll worry too much about the small things. Look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is what you need to look at. That's what you want at the end of the day. Dum, 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 dum. That's what I was actually saying this morning. I was actually saying it this morning in the members video on this account. So I don't know how long this can't like going to last, but I think it can go to 22.5. It's okay. But it'll probably win before that. It always does. Not a big deal. Before you know it again, it'll be back on 26,000, maybe even 27. It'll move up. When my account is down, I equate it to having a girlfriend. If I wasn't trading and had a girlfriend, it would be down more. That's so true, Nick. Absolutely true. It's actually interesting because only this account that's down, I think. Yeah, I must figure out why that is. Maybe I must look within and see what I'm doing. So this account, this trade's gone. I've given up on this trade for now. I'll get back to it later and have a look at it. I looked on the other main account now and I didn't take it. So obviously I just took it here. So that's fine. It's no big deal. And it's just, well, it's creating a hammer now, but you know what? I'll take it again if it breaks through that level, but I'm just not comfortable with it at the moment. Just giving me the heebie-jeebies, that one. And this account, so that's something that happens as well. If an account starts to take a few knocks, you start to like look at things like that, and it kind of bugs you. And yeah, that's always going to happen. Then I go look at the other accounts and I think, well, everything's okay, so it doesn't really matter. Spread your wings around a little bit. But I know in the long run it always works out, so I'm not too concerned, especially when you're targeting bigger profits. I'll just equate it to having, like Nick says, having a girlfriend costs you money. Euro Canadian dollar. Let's go and have a look at the Euro Canadian dollar. EuroCAD. Ooh. Take a long trade. Why not? Okay. Let me see what we've got here. It looks like a nice long trade, I have to say. You know, if I just take the trends alone and I just do that, I mean, that's clearly broken structure. That's good. I like that. This was clearly a resistance level. Let's just check here. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice trade. I just want to draw one up this way just to see what we've got. And it's going up there, the trend nicely. Can't see anything wrong with a long trade here. Looks really nice. Worst case scenario, we're talking about supply and demand today. And there's a supply of money up there at 163.3. Keep your eyes open for that. If it gets there, it might take that money and come down. But further than that, looks like a wonderful trade. Doesn't look too bad at all. In fact, I like this trade. It looks really nice. Looks really nice. Looks like it's going to go in your favor. Where did you take the trade? At what level? Arthur, my tip of the day. What's your tip of the day, Arthur? What's your tip of the day? This is a really nice trade. Euro Canadian dollar. Looks like it's going to go up. And it looks like it could go up pretty decently, pretty far. Yeah, if I look at it, it looks pretty decent. You know, the whole thing with also looking at sessions, I get you, you know, when you're saying the Asian session offers more stable environment and compared to the UK and US sessions with less volatility. You know, a lot of people play a lot into trading sessions, but you have to remember that these things are open for a specific amount of time, no matter what. And it really doesn't matter what session you're trading in. You know, I prefer more volatility because if there's more volatility, there's more to trade. You need more to trade. You need more options to trade. So if it's not volatile, it makes it difficult to get a profit out of it. So sometimes it's better if it's more volatile. You know. Shall we take a long trade on this with you, Coral? Let's take your trade, Coral. Where must I put my stop loss? 160, I don't know. That was 161.5. And how big must the trade be? Oh, that's a bit big, isn't it? Okay, I'll just make it 0.3. And a take profit, what's our take profit? 163.5. Oh, that's not good enough because we're not going to make much for that. We're going to have to go and target 164.6 up there. That's a long way to go. I don't want to put the stop loss that close. Nah, we'll leave it. It's not viable, but okay. Cool. What's your target there, Coral? It'll be interesting to know for everyone what target might be on that particular trade. Let me know. Let me see what you think. Interesting. NASDAQ is in limbo. Bulls need it to break above 26,000. Bears need to break below 25.3. There's a lot of stuff in limbo at the moment. Look at gold. Gold is so in limbo. Look at it. Sitting in the middle. I mean, I won't trade this. Not with your money, I won't trade it. It needs to break above that 40.50 or below that 39.50 to give us a trade. We're just not getting a trade out of this, and that's tricky. So we're waiting with that. I mean, then there's the, like you say, then there's the NASDAQ, and then there's the S&P 500. Now, if you want to know how to trade the NASDAQ and you're not sure which way it's going to go and it's in limbo, watch the S&P as well. Because if the S&P breaks that level and starts pushing to the upside, just bear in mind that the NASDAQ's going to go the same way. Or if it gets a red candle and starts coming down, bear in mind the tech's probably going to go the same way because the tech has got a lot to do with what happens in the S&P 500. So just keep an eye on that, and that might actually play a lot into what's going to happen with your trading. So just keep your eyes on that as well. Watch out for it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, while things are in limbo, by the same token, you can pick up from other trades, a bit like hedging. You can pick up from other trades what might happen at any one time. And you can just go with that and see how it works out for you. Okay. Okay, here we go. So at least, yeah, so that Euro Great British Pound we dumped, and we got the Euro Canadian dollar looks good. So let me just see. Coral is targeting 16318, 16318, which is somewhere down here, which means your stop loss has got to be pretty close. 162. Actually, I suppose you could do that. 16318. Right there on the top. So that's an interesting target. Okay, so if you do that and you put your stop loss at 162, just go 162 straight up. You lose the trade, so be it. And then you target 163. Let's just see how that works out. 163.3. That's not bad, actually. That's actually worth the trade. You know, why not? So we'll leave that in place. See what happens. Okay, that's Coral's trade. Right, let's see what happens with it. I can follow it and see how it goes. We'll see how Coral's trade goes. Now you're in the limelight, part of the club, and see how much money you make. Because we'll make the same here. Or lose the same here. Let's not lose the account, shall we? Okay. Right. That's probably why this account's struggling, is because I take these trades just like, poof. Okay, there we go. All right. That looks great. Interesting stuff there. Okay, so we've taken a trade, Euro Canadian dollar, because we all said that looks good. Now, why did we take that trade? Well, firstly, because Coral said so. But secondly, because if you look at that, there's your resistance on top there, 9 pence at top. Come all the way down. So we've got this trend, bearish trend, which it's broken back through. It's gone back to the upside, which is great. And then we've got a trend moving to the upside, which is great. And then we've got this flow, this trend moving up, targeting this supply level up here. So, you know, if it reaches that supply level, you've made a good profit. And I just put the stop loss down here, around this level here. If it gets down there, it's probably breaking back down to the other side anyway. So there you go. So there are many reasons to take this trade. I could, of course, also put the support level down here, which perhaps we should do just to be on the realistic side. There's a nice big support level, and I'll tell you what, we'll even put one of these in just as we can. Oh no, we don't want a short position, we want a long position. We went long on that. We'll put one of these in. There's your target, there's your stop loss. There you go. Okay, see where we go. Like that trade, not bad. So that actually, you're kind of trading with supply and demand here, because that's what we talked about in the beginning of the video. We talked about supply and demand. We're talking about whether supply and demand can actually work for you and how you take supply and demand. So for those of you that have come onto the show and you didn't see my talk about supply and demand, because I give a bit of training at the beginning of every video, I think it's about 5 minutes in, I talked about supply and demand. You don't have to watch it for long. It's about 2 minutes or 5 minutes, or could be longer. But anyway, go and have a look at that, where I talk about supply and demand, and this is very much a supply level, and it usually works very well and makes very well into confluence with support and resistance. But in this case, there isn't really much of a resistance there, but there is a resistance. There is a resistance line right there where the target is, and you'll see that there's your supply level right on the spot. And if it goes up, takes that supply level, it'll come back and come down most likely. So that's the target, and that's the level you're looking for. Supply and demand. I mean, we're talking about supply and demand today. You might as well. Every system in the market works. I always tell you guys, every single system in the stock market works because some genius trader tested it and they know that it works and they've proved that it works. So you might as well go and use it. It really doesn't matter. The thing to understand is that every single trader has got a system. And every single trader's system is either going to work for you or against you. You're trading with other traders, and it's a buy and sell market. You know, your system is not going to be perfect. Their system is not going to be perfect. Everyone's systems is going to be different. And that's why it's a 50-50 market. You know, people don't understand why it's a 50-50 market. All you got to do is say to yourself, if someone's selling something to me, then they must believe that it's worth selling it to me because they want to get rid of it. But I want to buy it because I believe there's some value in it for me to buy it. Whether it be a house, a car, a chicken, it really doesn't matter. But now in the stock market, it's exactly the same thing. You know, if they're selling it to you, they've got a reason for wanting to sell it and get rid of it. And you've got a reason for wanting to buy it because you see value in it. You both see different value. You've both got a different take on which way the value is going to go. And that's why there's a market. That's why there's always going to be a market, because there's always going to be someone who sees value in buying it, and there's always going to be someone who sees value in selling it. It's a stock market. That's what it is. That's how it works. It's 50-50. If it was 100% going to go one way, then the market would flatline. It would literally flatline on a zero. Because if it was all going to go one way, then everybody would just buy or everyone would just sell. And then there wouldn't be any market, would there? That just wouldn't make sense. So why do people think that that's not 50-50? Why do people think that they're going to have a better chance at winning than somebody else? Is it because you believe you're cleverer than the next trader? Or is it because you believe you've got more experience than the next trader, or you're going to do a better job than the next trader? I don't know what it is. It's obviously a psychological thing. But for some odd reason, every single broker tells every single client that 75% of leverage traders lose money because by law they have to. So they tell you this. They tell you this. Before you get into trading, they tell you you're going to lose. But you still get into trading. You get into trading, and it's your first week, and you believe you're going to be part of that 25% that win. What they didn't tell you is that actually more than 90% of traders lose money. What they didn't tell you is that that statistic just isn't just retail traders. It's kind of like everyone. So when it comes to retail traders, the statistic is worse, far worse. And particularly retail traders that become day traders and try to trade on 5-minute charts, it becomes 99% of traders lose money. Now, even when you hear that statistic, you still get into trading. And you still believe that you're going to be part of the 1%. It's a form of insanity. But it is what it is. Always going to be that way. Okay, did you say Aussie dollar, US dollar looks nice for a buy as well? Oh, sorry, I'm getting a bit of a cough here. Okay. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Let's just have a look at it. Let me just remove this dungus here. Get that thing out of the way. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got here. Sir Lunchalot did note that this would be a good buy. So let's just have a look at what we've got here in the way of levels. These rookies are day levels. Okay, so I've put them in there on a day basis. So you'll see on the resistance, it's hit that a number of times and come down. On the bottom here, the level seems to be a little bit higher, sort of more towards there, rather than all the way down the bottom here. So it looks to me like we could have a scenario of it hasn't reached the bottom and bounced, it as actually still up there. So what we want to check is just that. And then you've got a very similar situation to what we just did a few moments ago. And it's going up and it's looking good. So that looks like a good buy as well. Yeah, looks lovely. It's breaking to the upside, moving to the upside. So with this, you're probably looking at something like that more than anything else. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, I'm not seeing, yeah, look at that. If you're looking at a supply level, because we're talking about supply and demand today, of course, And I just want to take this out of here as well. I don't know why we've got 2 in there. If you're looking at supply and demand on this particular one as well, then effectively what you've got is in this area here, you've got a supply of money. So that is actually very close to the price. So just be careful of that, Sir Lancelot. That supply of money could affect it in one way or another and push it down. But I don't play big into supply and demand, so don't worry too much about it. But it could mean that there's another level here, and yes, there is. You see there's a resistance level. Yeah, look at this. Now you must be careful. Yeah, I didn't spot that straight up. And if you draw the supply and demand in, sometimes you just spot these things and you see them. But yeah, that is a resistance level right in there. Look at that. It's been sitting in that level. It's hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 1 million times. It's bumped into this resistance level about 1 million times, okay? It's left a gap there. It's come back, filled that gap, gone all the way down. It's going back up here. Now, that while it's a supply of money, it's also a resistance. So if you buy this now, you could be hitting a staunch resistance here. What you might want to do is just wait for it to break up into the next level here. Maybe there's 2 levels here. So there's a main day level, resistance, support. And in between that, you've got a 4-hour support and a 4-hour resistance level here that it's bouncing around in. And it's hit that resistance level lots and come down. It did break it and go up to the main level, come back down, but it's broken back down into it. Will it push through it again? I don't know, but be very careful of that, Solange. That could be tricky on the Aussie dollar, US dollar. And for me, the trouble with Aussie dollar, US dollar is just like the Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar is I'm usually sleeping when this all happens. But anyway, there you go. That's the basis of it. Interesting. So Solange, if you're in that trade, ooh. Okay, let me just have a look at this one that has come back on us as well. I hope we haven't done something there, but there's a long way to go there. So this trade should still be okay. It's just falling off the bus a little bit. That's fine. That's drawdown. It's going to happen. Okay. Just looks nice. Okay. Random asks, can you also take 30 minutes levels or only 4-hour levels? You can take absolutely any levels that you want, but bear this in mind. Okay, this is important. And that is the reason I trade on the 4-hour charts is because I became lazy. Let me put that in perspective. I used to try and trade on lower time frames quite a lot. And because I was bored, right? Because I would sit there and go, oh, I'm going to go and trade on 5-minute charts now, 1-minute charts and 15-second charts, whatever, tick charts. That's insane. All right, just to keep yourself busy. But what I found myself doing is dedicating my life to watching charts, dedicating my whole life to watching charts. And that became a bit much, not just for me, but for everyone around me. So I decided that I took on this business to have a quality of life, not just for money, not just for the game. So I made a conscious decision to drop off and go into 4-hour trading. And a lot of older traders do this as well, and more experienced traders do intend to do what I've done. And then widen my aspects as to the amount of room I've got to trade with, the amount of profit or loss I've got to work with. And then also effectively just take positions and leave the positions in place and go and have a life. So that was my conscious decision to why I trade 4-hour charts. There's a lot of people out there that trade on the 1 hour still. 1 hour is perfectly okay. When you start going down to the 30 minutes, you might be just pushing the limits a little bit, okay? And it makes it a little bit more tricky. And then from there going down, it goes off the rails. You know, one of the better areas that most people find themselves in is the 1 hour. I just prefer the 4 hour because for me, it's nice and slow. I can walk away. I can leave the trades in place. I can take wider areas, put it in. So there's lots of room for my trade to move into drawdown and into profit and that sort of thing. And yeah, and I can leave the trades in for longer and go and have my lunches and go to the beach and do whatever I want to do and see friends and whatever. So yeah, it's and I keep myself busy these days by making YouTube videos rather than playing games or whatever it is that I was doing because I was bored. So boredom is a thing that actually causes people to drop time frames. But be careful of that trap that you get into. And that is because you get bored, you drop the time frames. But then you've dropped the time frames. Now you're trading in that trap and you can't get out of it and you find yourself stuck in there. Now, the one thing to remember about trading is it's not like a day job where you can get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and close shop at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and everything will just close. Because when you close shop, it carries on trading, carries on by itself. So what you find yourself doing when you decide to start trading on the lower time frames is getting up at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, setting up your charts, working through the day, and you end up trading through to 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning to check that trade that you overtraded on. I don't care if you say, I'm only going to trade for 2 hours a day and then I'm going to shut shop and leave it and not have any trades in. I don't care if you say that because nobody does. Because you see what happens with that kind of trader is every single time and without fail, and you're all going to make the same mistake if you do this. You say, I'm going to trade 2 hours a day. I'm going to come in, I'm going to trade 2 hours a day. I'm going to make $200. I'm going to go home and that's it. I'm done. Okay. So what actually happens is the trader comes in and instead of making $200, they lose $400. Okay. Because that's going to happen. You can see that happens. I mean, look at my charts. So you can see that happen. The last 2 weeks, I've lost a few $1,000s on this account. Okay. And it was $1,000 in profit from the week before. So, it's up and down. You don't always win, right? Now you come in, I'm going to make $200 today. You lose $400. You think, oh, can't walk away from that. So instead of walking away, because now you're 2 days down because you've lost $400. You're 2 days down. You're actually 3 days down because you needed to make $200 profit. You're literally 3 days down in a 5-day week. So you think to yourself, well, I've got to get that back. So you stay. You don't leave. You stay. And you stay, and you stay, and you stay, and you keep trying to get it back through the day. At the end of the day, you've lost $600. So tomorrow you come back and you do it all again, but you're 4 days down, you've got to make it all back, right? So you never end up leaving that trading desk because you're constantly trying to fight the fires, trying to get that money back, because 9 times out of 10, the person who's doing that needs the money now, this week, this month, whatever, to pay the bills. So you can't just leave it and say, I'll come back tomorrow and just start again. And don't worry about the $400 that I lost yesterday or the $800 that I lost yesterday. That's okay. I'll just make $200 again today and be $600 down. No, it doesn't work like that. You end up staying. And then you end up staying in trades because you don't want to close your trade out because you're in a loss. So your trade's in a loss. So you don't want to close it. So you stay in the trade. You go to sleep at night. You leave the trading desk at 10 o'clock, you go to sleep at night, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to check what's happening with that trade that you left open. This is the problem with going to the lower time frames. This is the problem with having the ambition to make $200 a day, the arrogance of, I will make $200 a day, and then you don't, okay? So just like I've always told you guys, I'm not here to tell you how much I can make or how well I can do or how bad I can do or anything like that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you what my experiences have been, because every trader's had the same experience 9 times out of 10. And you can learn from that and you can decide for yourself whether you want to go down that road or whether you don't want to go down that road. But there's a road for you to take. And most of you will go down that road because we all do. We don't listen. We all go down that road. I've gone down that road. Most of the things that most traders have done, I've done. I've made the same mistakes. So just so that you know, that's kind of where you end up. All right. So Dustin says, so trading on the 4-hour would be a swing trade which you hold overnight. So a lot of people these days call it swing trading, so I understand that. And as I always tell you guys, swing trading, what swing trading actually is, Okay, what swing trading actually is you trade this long, it goes to the top here, you turn it around and you trade it short. That's how we grew up with trading. We were called swing traders if we bought it, sold it, bought it, sold it, and never got out of the trade. That's swing trading. That's real swing trading. What they call swing trading now is just position trading. Now, I like to call it position trading because it makes more sense, right, than swing trading, because swing trading is swing trading. What you're doing is swinging the trade every time. That's why we invented the terminology, but it's just terminology. I always tell you guys it's not important what the terminology is. I like to call it position trading, though, because you're putting a position in place and then you've positioned yourself in the market. In other words, there's a strategy behind it. So you put the position in place with the strategy, with the basis of where I'm going to put my stop loss and work out the size of my trade. For those of you that don't know my strategy, please go and watch my videos. There's lots of them. And at the back end of every video, I give you the strategy, the business plan, okay? Which has got nothing to do with charts. It's got to do with how you manage your trade. Anyway, you're not going to make money from charts. Just remember that. If you haven't watched me before, you are never going to make money from charts. Charting is 50-50. It's a system that gives you a means to an end. It gives you a means to manage your trade, gives you a way to take your trade, gives you a way to manage your risk, okay? Do I hold the trades overnight then? Yes. On the 4-hour chart, yes, very much so. Do I hold the charts over the weekend, trades over the weekend? Well, in a lot of cases I do. Shouldn't. You shouldn't. Most people shouldn't because it's tricky, but we do. But I do look at the risk on the Friday, because the one thing in my experience in my 34 years of trading is the crashes that I've been through have always started to take effect on a Friday. I've always seen things going pear-shaped on a Friday. So I've learned over the years, and I hope it doesn't change because that's what kept me in the game. But I've learned over the years that if I see things going wrong on a Friday afternoon, I get out of all my trades and come back on Monday morning. Everything looks peaceful and rosy on the Friday, I'll take a chance. That said, keeping an eye on the news as well. Like if there's like a world war breaking out or something, I don't want to be in my trades over the weekend. So how I keep my trades over a weekend is very much based on how I feel about the market. And I've been very lucky up till now. A couple of my friends were not so lucky, but I've been very lucky up till now with that. And I've been able to call it. But that doesn't mean I'll always be able to call it. It just means that I've been lucky up to this point calling it. Because you really shouldn't be holding your trades over the weekend, but I do it. And I do it based on, I think I have a good feeling for what might happen and what might not happen over a weekend. But that said, yeah, that's, if you want to call it swing trading, you can, Dustin. There's no problem with that. But effectively, yes, I do hold the trades overnight. Born Tom Kong, I like the intense moments to do my short trades around 10:30 till 12 and then off. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of traders won't just work from 10:30 till 12. Most of them, when they're losing, will stay and try and get it back. Most people won't just come in at 10:30 and leave at 12. Most people don't do it. It doesn't work like that. I do it because I trade 4 hours, but if you're trading on 5 minutes and things like that, most people won't do it. I'm not a big fan of trading certain times of the day or trading at opening or anything like that. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think it's something that you can actually call or something that can actually work. The people that know what's going to happen at the market open are the people inside the system, the people, I can't call them insider traders, the institutional traders. The institutional traders have got information way before you and I have got it. And that's what makes the difference, okay? That's a totally different kind of trader. Random dollar, but I have to make 15K to pass the challenge. You know, random, it's funny, I have another funded account, it's a 100K account that's open to payouts, okay? And I can only get payouts for every 12 $100,000 that you make. Any tips on that, Rob? Can you help? I have FX2 100K account, lost 6,000. I have to make 15,000 to pass the challenge. You see, Random, the only thing you can do, all right, is work according to the strategy with a view to you're going to make more on your wins, lose less on your losses, and stick to the strategy. Stop worrying about the charts and the system and start worrying about the strategy more and manage the trades according to that. That's the only way you're going to be able to do that. And then you'll get around it. That's the only way you're going to make that money back. You know, don't worry about the 6K down. You know, that you're going to be down sometimes, you're going to be up sometimes. That's just kind of how it's going to work. It's trading. I hate to tell you this, but it's trading. That's how trading works. It's you're in this game. It's a high-risk game. And some you win, some you lose. But if you learn to lose, and you understand that you're going to lose, and you understand that it's not about how many trades you win, it's about how much you win on the trades that are winning, then you start to get that moment in your brain that says, wait a minute, that's what I need to figure out. It's about how much you win on the trades that you're winning. It's also kind of about how much you lose on the trades you're losing, because you don't want to lose that much. You want to lose as little as possible, and you want to win as much as possible. So when you get a good trade that's going well for you, then you need to follow it, and you need to go with it, and you need to try and make as much as you possibly can off it. Like we said earlier, who was it that trades the VIX as well? I think it might be Nick. You might have picked up from me that I trade the VIX. And the VIX is one of those trades that you can take and know that you're going to make a gargantuan sum of money, and it's going to cover up all of those other trades, you know? So, and as Nick says, with Trump in office, holding over the weekend is riskier. And I accept that. Yes, it is riskier. It totally is, because he's quite volatile, isn't he? You see, it's the volatility of the people in power that will cause your problem in these areas, and that's a fact. Yeah, that is what it is. Random, I'll look at Euro US dollar again for you. Knowledge is a wonderful thing, Rob. Thanks again for all the experience and most. A pleasure, Jabba. That's great. Dustin, welcome to Trade of the Day. Thank you. Should I take a weekly swing trade, one trade? Random, don't do one trade. You've got to take more than one trade. You've got to have a few trades in place, because you don't want to put all your risk into one basket. Now, I don't want to call it hedging, because that's wrong, right? But it is kind of like hedging, because what you're doing is you're splitting your base up. It's a bit like my accounts. My cash accounts, the funded accounts, all the accounts are not all in one place. So in other words, if one person takes my money out of that account, I've still got all those accounts, or whatever the case. I'll spread my stuff around a bit. And it's a bit like when I buy my investments. I don't just go and buy I don't just go and buy NVIDIA. I buy NVIDIA, I buy Amazon, I buy Coca-Cola, I buy McDonald's, I buy all these different shares. And then I know that I've got the option that some of them will grow at a faster pace than others. And if one loses, the others will cover up for it. So you've got to split yourself apart a little bit. So when it comes to trading, don't just trade one thing, even if it's a swing. Try and split it amongst a couple. So if you decide, listen, I need to trade on my $100,000 account, I need to trade $10,000. Okay, I need to trade that percentage no matter what. So I'm going to take that $10,000 and I'm going to split it among 5 trades, $2,000 a trade. And that way I know that I could possibly win 2 or 3 of them. And then I'll make some profit out of the whole deal, because you're going to lose trades. So if you're taking one trade, the possibility that you could lose that is 50-50. And then if you start losing on that, you don't have anything winning. You only have the losing trade. So it's better to have at least 2 trades, because then there's a chance of one winning and one losing. or 4 trades, because then there's a chance of 2 winning and 2 losing, or 3 winning and 1 losing, or something like that. Okay, so you kind of split your odds, and it makes it a bit better for you in the long run. Okay, so we did say, did we say euro? We said euro US dollar, right? Euro US dollar. Let me have a look at it for you quickly. Euro US dollar. Let's find it here. Euro US dollar. And we were questioning the fact that it has gone long. Okay. Now, if you look at the euro US dollar, it's actually so straightforward. Just take a trend line like that. You see the trend line, right? So what have you got here? This is in a bearish trend, right? Clearly, it's in this bearish trend. It's going down in this bearish trend, right? It's hit the top, it's gone down, turning around. It's turning around within that trend. There's nothing wrong with putting the smaller trend inside the trend just to see which way this is going. So what's happened now? You've got this trend resistance inside the bearish trend, and it's turned around and counter traded within the trend and gone up to the upside. Why haven't I gone long on this trade yet? Because you see that red line? That was a support. That was a support line. It broke through that support line within the bearish trend. The trend overall is still bearish overall. Okay, so that hasn't changed. It is still a bearish trend, even though that's counter traded and gone up. Now, if that line wasn't there, this is a great long trade back to the top. But this line is there, that line in the sand. Now, lines don't stop things trading or stop things moving or anything like that. What these lines are liquidity in the market. It's where other traders have left orders. It's where other traders are moving things around, preferably institutional traders with lots of money. So what happened is it broke through there. It came down to the bottom. What is it doing now? It's going back up and it's retesting that area. That's why I'm not long on it yet, because it's retesting that area. Now there's 2 possibilities, and those 2 possibilities are this. The one possibility is it's going to go through, break through, and break up and head up to the top of this level. The other possibility is it's going to find orders there, it's going to turn red, and it's going to go flying back down and continue its journey to the bottom. Because that level is there. That level was always there. It wasn't something I drew in recently. It was there from previous. There's the level. There's the level. Every time it hits there, it bounces up. Every time it hits there, it bounces up. Oops, this time it broke through. Sometimes you chip it away at a wall and you break through. But normally when that happens, it does tend to like to go back and just see if that was real or not. And just check if that wall is still standing. And if it's still, look, the wall's still there, we'll just go back down again. Okay, so just watch out for that. Watch out for those levels. You know, I draw these little extra levels in just to keep my eyes open as to what might be happening. I can take all of this out of here. You won't see it, and it just looks like it's going straight back up. But it's not. It's hitting that level there, which is an important, very important level. So the euro US dollar at the moment is in no man's land. It's kind of in a situation of could go up, could go down, because it's hit that level. So that's your euro United States dollar. Not great for anyone who's long or short. Not great for anyone. It's not a great position to be in for anyone, right? Long or short, because at that point you're thinking, ooh, which way is it going to go? Right? And if you don't have a crystal ball, yep. So you can call it. I wouldn't take the trade from there, but if I was in the trade, if I was in the trade long, what I would do is I would wait and see if it breaks through and then make more money, or I would wait and see if it turns down and then, get out of the trade. If I'm in a profit and I'm not comfortable with this, I'll do what I did with the Euro Great British Pound earlier and just close the trade. Okay, just walk away. If you're not comfortable and you're in a profit, close it, walk away. It doesn't matter. Take on a new trade, take on a new project, let's say, okay? Because if you're not comfortable with something, if you just don't feel comfortable with it and you're looking at it, it's going to give you a sleepless night. It's going to keep you awake because you're like, I just don't like it. I just don't feel comfortable with it. It doesn't matter if it's $2, if it's $20, if it's $200,000. It really doesn't matter. If you're not comfortable with it, let it go. Throw it away. Start a new trade somewhere, even if it's on the same thing. Just start again, you know, walk away from it. The holy grail of trading is diversification, what my mentor told me years ago. Absolutely, Nick, you're totally right. It's great having Nick here because he's actually a great help to me. Thank you, Nick. You're actually a great help to me. Absolutely. As are many other of you guys. Very helpful on this. And it's great for everyone because the more people that we've got on here that have actually got some experience, the more you can learn from those people and the more you can pick up. And I'm finding it on the Telegram channel as well. Guys are talking to each other. That's actually fantastic. That's the best way to pick up, is to pick up from other people's experiences. We're not here to Google over what other people have made and how great they are and what great traders they are and whatnot. You're here to find out what the pitfalls are and how you can get past them and how you can get ahead in your trading journey, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is trying to navigate all those pitfalls in the market. And it's fantastic, like Nick says here, holy grail of trading is diversification. Diversification is so important. And Random says the weekly's bearish on the euro, United States dollar. Yes. As I said to you, sometimes I talk a little bit too fast. But as I said to you, the overall picture here is bearish. So the overwhelming picture here is bearish, okay? So if you wanted to take trades, the best way would be to the short side. But by the same token, when something's bearish, doesn't mean it's going to be bearish forever. Sometimes you want to counter trade, and the counter trade would be the breakout to the upside, or, you know, if it breaks through that level or something to that effect. Obviously, you would want it to break the entire level, which is right up at the top here at 116, breaks that, then you've got a definite bullish change. But as we stand at the moment, it's in the bearish trend, so you are trading against the trend if you go against it. Okay. As Nick says, the longer the time frame is, it can move a lot before it resumes the trend. Yeah. So it may look like it's, you know, going against the trend, but it can, like he says, it can move a lot before it resumes the trend. So it's in that trend. And like I said to you, it's in that trend. So you're trading, you should be going short on every trade here because it's in that overarching trend. And the overarching trend is bearish. And like I said to you here, it's gone back up to retest. There is a very good likelihood you're going to get a red candle coming down and it's going to push it downwards. Okay. But keep that in mind. Okay. Random, look, like what Nick is saying is it's in that, like I said to you now, as I showed you now, it's in that trend. It'll be in that trend in the daily. It'll be in that trend in the weekly. So we can go to all the time frames here. You can go to the daily. It'll be in that trend. There you go. See, it's in that bearish trend. And it's broken the daily. If you look at the daily and you draw a trend line up here, it's actually broken structure and it is bearish. If we go to the weekly, it's also a broken structure and gone bearish. You see, if I draw the trend through here, broken the structure and it's gone bearish. So the overwhelming picture is bearish. The other thing you have to look at with this euro US dollar on the weekly is there's the level. It's hit that level a number of times and it's pushing it down. So there seems to be a resistance level around this level. There is another one a little bit higher up here, but I do believe that this one is relevant and it's probably going to cause it to go down. If you take a level up here, it's broken that trend. So if you want to go to the higher time frame and check it out, that's what you get. Okay. And what it's saying is it's kind of bearish. It looks like it kind of wants to stay bearish. So euro Canadian dollar is, wow, that was a nice call there, Coral, if you're still here. Lovely call. I like that call. It's going well. That's a goodie. That's a goodie. That one might pay off a little bit, which would be great for all of us. For all those who took the trade, I hope it works out for you. I hope it works out for you. Okay. Don't feel too overwhelmed if you are, learning the markets and you haven't been doing this for 100 years and you're trying to figure out the system and that. It takes time for it to come to you. It takes time for that to work out. Trading comes with experience more than anything else. The actual technical ability you can learn in a week, but applying it comes with a bit of gut feel, a bit of experience, and a bit of knowing what might happen, what might not happen. So don't feel too overwhelmed if you just started out and all these things are happening and whatnot, and you need to figure it out today. You can't figure it out in a day. It's really, really difficult to figure it out in a day. So let's just see how we go. I have $750 for part of my futures. We'll take them. Why not? Why not? Depends what you were targeting though. But if you feel uncomfortable with the trade, it's 50-50, you're not sure which way it's going to go anymore, then your initial plan might have been to make $2,000 on that trade, but it's got to a point now where you think, maybe I should have looked at that point and thought, well, maybe it could go either way at this point. It's nothing wrong with saying, well, I'm done with this, I'm out of here because I'm not comfortable. That's the best thing to do sometimes. Because sometimes you target something and you say, I want to get that price, and it's about making more on your wins, so that's what you're targeting. But then something comes up in the trade, the best laid plans of mice and men, and everything changes, the whole plan changes, and you look at it and think, well, actually, that's not looking too good. And at that point, there's nothing wrong with walking away and looking for something new to play with. New shiny tool, go and play with something else, let it go. Take the money and move, as long as you're in a profit. Sometimes you can just take a small loss and walk away as well. Just walk away sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I agree with Nick. Sometimes if I'm quite happy just to look at the daily. I will go to the weekly on certain cases. Like, for example, on Bitcoin, I went into the weekly a little bit because it was a bit more, viable, but I don't always look at the weekly. Often I'll just take a daily and just take it from there. That's good enough usually. You'll get a lot of information off the daily, believe me. There's plenty of information on the daily. So yeah, guys, on that note, time for me to be on my way and be on the move. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for watching. It's actually been great having you guys here. Thank you to all of you that help out on the comments and on the Telegram channel and all that. It's absolutely fantastic because it just gives everybody that opportunity to learn something. And if you can pick up something from somebody else, what a pleasure. It always helps. I wish we'd had that when we were younger and we were growing into trading and trying to figure our way through this maze of stuff. We didn't have all that. We just had one or two friends to help us. So guys, thank you for being here. It's been fantastic. Go Boca. Yeah, go Boca. Actually, I love watching that on the weekends now. What's wrong with me? Totally into that. Go Boca. We've got to beat France this weekend. Yeah, totally. So guys, thanks for watching. And I'll catch you through the week. And thanks for sticking around and putting up with my yeah, what can I say? Boring chat. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it's exciting and it's good for you guys. But I'll see you soon, and I will see you after the weekend. It's weekend, eh? Oh, yeah. Have a good weekend, guys. Make lots of money tomorrow on Friday. Remember, it is Friday, so keep your eye on the ball, just in case Trump says something over the weekend. But yeah, enjoy it, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday for the next live show, most likely, and every other day for the videos. So cheers. Ciao.